I've got the top 10 must-adds in fantasy basketball coming up next on Beat the Odds. Don't go anywhere. Hello sports fans and welcome back to another episode of Beat the Odds. I'm going to count down the top 10 must-add players ahead of Week 19. If you like this content, please smash that like button, and a special thanks goes to all of our subscribers who have been watching these videos, as you now account for almost 19% of all viewers. To the other 81% of viewers that haven't yet subscribed, I encourage you to do so, as it helps me create these videos for you. Also, leave a comment on a player that you think deserves to be on this list. Now let's dive right into number 10. We have Moses Moody, 10% owned, 19 minutes per game over the last 2 weeks, 7.7 points, 3 rebounds, 0.7 assists, 1.3 threes, 0.8 steals, 0.7 blocks, 0.7 turnovers, and 46% shooting from the field and 50% from the line. Moody slid into the starting lineup with the current absence of Andrew Wiggins and has delivered a very useful 17.5 rebound, 1 assist, 2 steal, 2 block line with 3 3-pointers made in his last game against the Raptors. With Wiggins out for an undetermined amount of time, Moody may pick up a few more starts this week. The hustle stats are part of his game, so if Moody can continue to log 30 minutes per game, we should be able to see 2 or 3 stocks each and every game. Let's go to number 9. We have Taylor Hendricks, 11% owned. Over the last 2 weeks, he's got 27 minutes per game, 9.4 points, 8 rebounds, 0.8 assists, 1.2 threes, 0.6 steals, 0.8 blocks, 0.4 turnovers, on 50% shooting from the field and 100% from the line. Since the Jazz have been falling out of consideration for the play-in, it's safe to say that there is going to be more minutes coming Hendricks' way. He's out there to provide a defensive presence, and he's done just that in the last 5 games for the Jazz. He posted a new career high with 13 rebounds in his last game, and he should be good for 25 plus minutes for the rest of the way. Let's go to number 8. We have Jalen Suggs, 50% owned. Over the last 2 weeks, he's got 23 minutes per game, 11.8 points, 1.6 rebounds, 3.6 assists, 2 threes, 1.6 steals, 0.8 blocks, 2.2 turnovers on 61% shooting from the field and 75% from the line. Now, Suggs has his flaws, typically poor shooting and high turnover rates to name a few, but he has remained an elite stock threat the entire season. The minutes are a bit concerning, especially with the gluttony of guards that play in Orlando, but his role is somewhat secure, so I don't envision that he's going to play himself out of the rotation. Suggs is currently on a 4-game run where he posts a field goal percentage of 60% or higher. Moving on to number 7, we have Max Strus, 56% owned. Over the last 2 weeks, he's got 32 minutes per game, 13.5 points, 3.5 rebounds, 5.2 assists, 2.5 threes, 0.7 steals, 0.7 blocks, 2 turnovers on 47% shooting from the field and 80% from the line. I'm sure we all saw Strus' 60-foot buzzer beater to sink the Mavericks, but he has also been a solid distributor for the team that has seen Donovan Mitchell come in and out of the lineup over this past week. His offense has been up and down, but there's no doubting his contributions to points and threes. Because he sees the floor as much as he does, Strus has been a solid pickup all season long. Moving on to number 6, we have Isaiah Stewart, 46% owned. Over the last 2 weeks, he's got 34 minutes per game, 13.5 points, 9 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 3 threes, 2 blocks, 1 turnover on 48% shooting from the field, and 50% from the line. Beef Stew is back, and the Al Horford prototype is back to his double-double, multiple threes and blocks way. The biggest takeaway here is the amount of minutes that he has seen since the return from a suspension and ankle injury. His value lies solely in the volume that he receives, so as long as he logs 30 minutes per night, he is certainly worth rostering. Let's go to number 5. We have Royce O'Neal, 36% owned, 30 minutes per game over the last 2 weeks, 12.4 points, 7.6 rebounds, 3.2 assists, 3 threes, 1.6 steals, 0.6 blocks, 0.6 turnovers on 40% shooting from the field and 83% from the line. O'Neal returned to the bench with Bradley Beal back in the lineup, but Royce certainly didn't skip a beat. He has been highly productive in recent days. He has always been a positive contributor in hustle stats, but when his shot's falling, he can be lethal. O'Neal has registered a steal in 8 straight games, drained 2 or more threes in 6 of the last 7, and he pulled down 38 rebounds in the last 5 games. Let's go to number 4. We have Trey Murphy III, 59% owned. Over the last 2 weeks, he's got 33 minutes per game, 15.3 points, 6.2 rebounds, 2.8 assists, 3.3 threes, 1.5 steals, 0.8 blocks, 0.2 turnovers, on 41% shooting from the field and 63% from the line. Murphy is another elite defender whose value tends to skyrocket once his shot starts falling. Case in point, Murphy knocked down 6 threes in wins against the Knicks and Pacers this week. scoring 26 and 28 points respectively. The last game against the Pacers had Murphy coming off the bench, so he's still going to get solid usage no matter where he plays. Let's go to number 3. We have Kelly Olynyk, 47% owned. Over the last 2 weeks, he's got 22 minutes per game, 10.8 points, 4.2 rebounds, 3.4 assists, 0.6 threes, 1.2 steals, 0.4 blocks, 1.4 turnovers, on 50% shooting from the field and 77% from the line. Scotty Barnes' injury will leave the door open for the next guy up on the team to contribute, and all signs are pointing to Olynyk getting that first shot. Olynyk is another skilled passer who will slide into a secondary playmaking role on the team. He's not a great rebounder or shot blocker, but he will be able to contribute nicely to other categories, especially with the extra run. To number 2 we go. We have Marvin Bagley III, 57% owned. Over the last 2 weeks, he's got 28 minutes per game, 14.2 points, 9 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 0.3 threes, 0.8 steals, 1 block, 0.7 turnovers, on 59% shooting from the field and 70% from the line. Bagley is starting to settle in as the Wizards' primary center. The Wizards are going nowhere fast, so they should be turning their attention to developing their young talent, but they really don't have any that plays center, so Bagley's job seems secure. That security vaults Bagley to must-own status, as well as the fact that he will help your team with rebounding while not really hurting your team in any other category. And finally, at number 1, we have Keontae George, 53% owned. Over the last 2 weeks, he's got 34 minutes per game, 17.4 points, 2.8 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 threes, 0.4 steals, 0.2 blocks, 3.4 turnovers, on 42% shooting from the field and 89% from the line. Like Taylor Hendricks, Keontae George will be leaned upon more as the season ends. If George were to ever tap into a little defense, he would be able to return 6th-round value with ease. As it stands, George can be counted on posting solid points, assists, and 3-point numbers. We should be able to consider Keontae a high-floor guard to roster that can pop off for 30 on any given night. And that's going to do it here for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video and, of course, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I'm going to sign off for now, but I will catch you guys on the next episode.